I was really impressed. But we were talking about that earlier when we were waiting around on how what was it, the great, what did you say, the great chrome, the black and white thing you were talking about?
Uh, the um the silver.
Yeah, that
Yeah, I
was,
was telling him about how I asked if it was going to be color, you said no, black and white, and then you corrected yourself. It'll be black and silver. And I said, whoa, what? And you're like, no, not dark silver, just enough to add depth. And I was kind of thinking, yeah, right, add depth, yeah. But then when I got the book, I was just my jaw dropped. It's like, Jesus Christ, I know what you meant now, you know.
If my name was running for, the networks would love me. I put the gun under my pillow. Yeah, I saw it on TV.
this over your head, but you were also 15 feet away from these people that went on to do all this shit, and we were talking at the time, we didn't all know that. I wish I would have had a camera and been snapping shit, when I was at some of those places. But like you said too, and then you bring it to Eckerd's and get them printed out, throw away.
You gotta wait.
What
It takes a week, and then you go up there and get your packet and look, and oh my God, some of them came out, and some of them look like shit.
So to be able to take a lot of those and transpose them into looking the way they looked, I thought that was
right.
In Miami, that's where you wanna be tonight. Keep in touch with SEALs, 'cause it's an urban battlefield.
I think the first time I met Chris is when you came up and played at the Elvis Room that night.
Right.
That's the first time I met him in person. Because I had listened to his stuff before, because I've been to Queers, but in the early 90s I went to college out in Mexico. And I remember when I came back, our city of Portsmouth had this cool punk place called the Elvis Room. And we were getting national bands were all coming through there, Speech and Weasel Letters coming through, because Joe was living there, and we were bringing all this into town. And the Lincolns came up and played. I think, did we play with you? Or did I just come see you?
I'm not sure. I think you guys played.
Yeah, we did. And I remember we went out drinking, and the picture from his book is that night, because we had, my son was with us, because it was an all ages place, and he was maybe 15. So he couldn't go. We were all going to all the bars in downtown Portsmouth, and my son could come in with us. And I believe at one time, he was going to wait for us to come in. We went into one place, and we forgot about him. And he had to walk home. His dad forgot about him because he was in. So I believe that was the first night I ever met Chris. And from 91 to 96, I studied soil scientist. I'm actually a soil scientist. I was degree in soil science, what I actually do for a living. I played in some bands when I was out there, actually. I played in a really cool band called the Modicone Brothers. Nice. I was in Las Cruces for a little while, after doing the Queers. So I continued to play those out there. But I went from 91 to 96 and came back to Portsmouth to get work. The Queers with the Wimpy thing, really, we actually started in about 81. Me and my good friend Scott, who was Tulu, and Joe got together, and we weren't playing live, but we went into the studio, and that's when we first recorded those songs, like, I don't know if you know, like Whatever I Do on Heroin, and we were joking about that, because literally what we did is we got an old guy, like myself now, to come into the studio and got him drunk and made him sing this stuff, and it became a thing. Right. So we started around then, 81. We started doing live shows maybe 83. We wrote enough stuff, because we were just, at first it was just Joe on guitar, this guy Scott on bass, and me on drums. So it was hard to make it work. And one day at practice, as a joke, I got up. We had a friend there who was playing. He said to play bass, and my friend Scott played drums. And as a joke, I got up and started singing. And that just became like Wimpy, and then that went. And then we started doing live gigs. But we only did live gigs for maybe a year. He started the Queers with the other guys about 1989. I think he started with Hugh B. Face. And I'd show up every once in a while and do some stuff. But it kind of went like, because we never thought we were really going to go anywhere or do anything, So it really didn't go anywhere until, Joe put in the time in the 90s and Look Out and stuff, picked things up. Well, a lot of my good stuff, I lived where I am in New Hampshire, I'm only an hour from Boston.
Hmm.
In the late 70s, there was the Rat. In the late 70s, I went to the Rat and saw all sorts of bands with 20 people. I remember seeing the Cramps when they had this guy, Brian, this really weird guy named Brian who played guitar. And there was 30 people there, so you stood right in front of it. I saw Black Flag like that at the channel, stood right there, Damaged Tour, and so it was, before that I'd been going to rock concerts. As a kid in high school, I went to rock concerts, the Who and stuff like that. It was so different to stand in front of that stuff, to stand in front of the Ramones, and a lot of people I don't think realize that little short period of time where he's got most of his pictures taken when you could do that, and the bad brains that come sleep on your couch and stuff, and so that's what I like about that. In Boston, some of the other good ones, I remember seeing the Police with nobody there. I saw Black Flag with a handful of people. I saw in 1978, the first time I saw the Ramones, it was this tour called Punk Rock something, and it was the Ramones, the Talking Heads, and Eddie and the Hot Rods. And it was in a sit-down theater seeing the Ramones, and it was so loud. Like in Portsmouth when I was young, we didn't have shit in Portsmouth. Portsmouth was still doing cover bands when all that happened. It really wasn't until like the Queers and stuff when Portsmouth started having not cover bands, and if they were not cover bands before that, they were lame stuff.
I get asked a fair amount of times, like, why did you start taking pictures of bands? And it's like, I don't fucking know. I can't answer that question, I guess I just thought it was a cool thing. And then the more I was getting that were turning out okay, I guess that stimulated me to try to take more, I guess. I'm assuming that about myself. But I'm glad I did, because some of the pictures are pretty cool.
When was that, Chris? When was it, like late 70s, early 80s, a lot of that stuff?
Early 80s. 80 was the beginning of that. I think the Ramones. That was 1980. What was that movie? Tim Curry. It was in it.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes, I got a picture of him, and that was from 1979. And that's the oldest photo that I have.